Okay guys, today we're going to look over domain and range of some graphs here. So in class we talked about looking for domain. We're going to scan left to right. Domain deals with our x-axis, so we want to see how far to the left our graph goes, how far to the right our graph goes. And we're going to use interval notation in order to represent this. So looking at this graph on the left, I want to box out my graph. Okay, so I look all the way to the left, and I'm going to draw a vertical line here. I'm going to look all the way to the right, and I'm going to draw a vertical line here. Okay, I'm looking for on the x-axis, so right there, the lowest possible value for the domain would be -3. And if I scan over to the right, the highest possible value, so there's nothing past this point here, this value. The highest value would be +3. We talked about parentheses versus brackets with values that are not included with parentheses, where we might see an open circle. Bracket has a closed circle or a curve or a line. It's very clear that it'll be not open. So at -3 here, there is a value there. There's no open circle, so we're going to have a bracket. And then at +3 here, again, there's no open circle. There's going to be a bracket. So I would read this as -3, 3, -3 to 3, including -3, including +3. My range deals with my y values or my y-axis, so I'm scanning bottom to top. So I'm going to see how far down, if I were to scan here, the lowest possible value that this graph goes to is -4. And then I scan up and I look at the highest possible value, which is +3. Again, I'm looking for open circles here. There's no open circle here. It's a line, so we're going to have a bracket that's included. At +3, there's no open circle. It's going to be a bracket as well. Again, so the range here, the y values, -4 to 3, including both of those. The graph on the right is a graph of a parabola here. We want to look at our lowest to highest x values. So again, my domain for this. So normally I would draw a vertical line as to where my end of my graph is. However, this arrow means it's going to continue going forever and ever. So I don't have an endpoint. When I don't have an endpoint and it's going to the left, okay, it's going that way to the left, that's going to be -infinity. If I were to scan to the right again, I would normally put a line here where it ends, but that arrow means it's going that way to the right forever and ever and ever, so that would be +infinity. We can never reach infinities, so we're never including them, so we're always going to have parentheses at infinities. For my range, my y values, we want to find the lowest possible y value, so if I look at the parabola, all the way at the bottom here, here's my lowest y value, which is -2. It's a curve here, so there is a value. There's no open circle. It's going to be a bracket. And we're going to scan up again. I would normally put a line here, but those arrows means it's going to continue going up forever and ever, which means it's going to go to infinity. And since we can never reach infinity, we're going to put a parenthesis there. So the domain, -infinity to +infinity, represented by those arrows going both to the left and the right, and the range -2 to infinity. Again, there was a value at -2, so I have a bracket there, and then I would go to infinity. All right, thanks guys.